sit down to write a song, what is your process?
When I sit down to write a song, what is my process? First, depending on what mood I'm in, that's what starts the process of the song, is the mood. If I'm in a happy mood, I'll go through a range of beats. And if none of them fits that happy mood, move on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
When I do actually find a selection of a beat that I like and that fits the mood, it kind of just like writes itself in a way. But I'll explain. I listen to that beat for at least like 4 or 5 days. I'll just, if I get a batch of beats, I'll sit with a batch of beats for like 4 or 5 days. You know what I mean? Give it that grace period to where it's just like, I like this one. I like this one more than the other one. You know what I'm saying? So, and certain songs just kind of just, they just, they just light up, and it's just like, oh man, everything works out, and you know what I mean. But mostly, yeah, I sit with the beat, and then I start with the hook. I always start with the hook. I've been doing that for about a decade now. I wasn't always doing that. I used to just write a bunch of verses and just spit them to whatever beat came my way and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? But I started working on hooks first because I knew that, and you know what? It came at a time where like people was really like big on the hooks thing, and they still big on the hooks. But I really I think I took it too far, and that actually just became my process and whatnot. I'm saying, like, oh man, the hook's got to be right first. But so I start with the hook. So the beat, I let it marinate. I'm listening to it, and it could be anywhere between intervals of like an hour, half an hour a day, just listening to the beat. And I'll listen to other beats. You know what I'm saying? If that beat, when I turn that music off and I keep hearing that beat in my head, that's the one that I'm going to write to the most. That's when the writing process, as far as like, all right, this is what I'm going to say on this record. This is what the message is going to be. That's when that process starts.
Okay. You mentioned sitting with a beat.
Yeah.
What's the longest you've sat with a beat, and why?
The longest I've sat with a beat would have to be...
Off the top of your head, because I'm sure the answer could probably be years.
Yeah, you know what?
But consciously sat with it, knowing I'm sitting with this and listening to it.
Consciously sat with it. Oh, okay. You mean like, because there's a lot of beats that I wish I did those things to, and I hear them years later, like, oh, I had an idea to that, and I never really did the idea to it. But consciously, probably about 2 to 3 months, and I think it's because there's certain beats that I'm just like, I have to do my justice to this. I have to. I can't just say anything. So it could be a situation where if I sit with a beat for 3 months, I'm writing 2 lines a week. You know what I mean? Not to sound drastic, but like that'll be a song that I'm working on. It'll be a process. It's not gonna just be like one of those ones where I'm just like, oh, you know what I mean, I'm in the mood. But I work fast, but when it's that beat that I know, like, all right, I gotta say something, like I can't let this slip. I might sit for about 2 or 3 months.
Okay. What are some stimuli you use to get yourself in the zone?
Well, if it's a party record, or if I'm like I said, if I'm in an uplifting spirit and I'm like just on my boss type, trader talk type, money talk, I like women around. I don't necessarily keep them through the whole process. I like the energy of females around when I'm trying to get the idea of it, or trying to figure out like what beat is dope. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I do that. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the studio too. It could be just in my private, just like, yo, or I'm just around a few females. If you think of this beat right here, I like that. And that'd be the joint I go home and I work on that joint. Like, yeah, they was feeling that one right there. I gotta do something. It's like it's almost like anything I say on this, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna pop because you know, I did. It's almost like they're my tastemakers in a way. You know what I'm saying? They give me like that first edge. You know what I mean? But just off for those records. But for the introspective records, I don't need that influence. All I need is probably blunt. Eighth preferably, because I'm gonna smoke more than one blunt. But it's gonna get done. You feel what I'm saying? It's definitely gonna get done. And man, I could recall I did a project called Moolah Thrice Great. It was 3 songs, and it's funny because the story behind Moolah Thrice Great was I lost $200 the night before. And I was so like drunk off Hennessy. I was drinking heavy at that time. You know, I definitely curbed that, but I was drunk. So I was so drunk that I thought that the people that was in my house stole the money. So I trashed the room like in anger, because like, you know what I'm saying? And when I found the money, I was so crushed that I, displayed that under that alcoholic influence that I didn't move for hours on the Moolah Thrice Great. Like, to write those bars for that, I didn't move for hours. And it wasn't like I just was writing, oh man, I trashed my room, or I trashed the house or whatever. I didn't say none of that type of stuff. It was more of a, alright, I need to really get this anger out. Whatever I'm angry about, that was a result of when I drank that alcohol and you know what I mean, did what I had to do. But that's one of the driving things with my music as well. It's very tied into my life as well. Like, if somebody pissed me off, I'm more than likely gonna go home and take that out, like in that form. More than likely. And I'm gonna just deal with it, get it done with, whether I'm right or wrong, and move on about it. You feel what I'm saying? So it's definitely therapeutic when it comes to that aspect of it.
What's the most challenging song you've ever written, and how did you go about it?
Challenging. Well, we could talk about the first challenge, man. You know what I'm saying? This is for my niggas, man. We could go back to that, man. The first challenge, you know what I mean? Like I said at first, you already know, like, you gave me the beat and whatnot, and it was just like, all right, yeah, I got something to this, and you was like, nah, man. Nah, you don't have nothing to this. And I'm like, you serious? I don't got nothing to this? Me? At that time, 19, what? Me? And and I go home and I'm like, man, I got this, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I really took that advice and was just like, that. I keep on naming that as one of the hardest ones. Because everything after that was just like, oh shit, I'm never going to spit a verse. It's a few moments in the artist's career where they like, it don't take too many times where you're like, oh, boom, boom, boom. All right, this is how you do it. Like, all right, this is how, this is how you go about it and shit. So, every man is my superior and I learn from them. So that's clear. And that was very clear at that moment right there. You know what I'm saying? Where it was so, any record after that, besides like, the pressures of coming up with a radio single or something like that, after that, it was just a breeze, you know what I'm saying? Because, radio singers is, hit or miss or whatnot. You don't never know what the people's feeling, and it all depends on what the trend is. So when it comes to personal records, personal growth as an artist, that definitely was one of the hardest records to work on, because you shattered everything that I was thinking beforehand. Like, you come to the table like, I got verses for days. Wait, hold on now. I'm gonna show you a little. You gotta rap to the, and that's where I learned the pockets. I love, that's where I learned the pockets of the beat. Every beat got a pocket. Had I not been through that, I might not have focused on pockets. Because once your ego is shattered, you're like, fuck everything. And then when it's built again, not the ego, but your character, which is, I believe, the ego is just like a bad, your character on a bad day. You feel what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying? But once you build that character and whatnot, like, yo, man, I actually feel good about doing that. I actually feel good. I wrote it all over again. Just went through it. You feel what I'm saying? And just put myself aside and my ego and just did it.
Well, I've seen a quote that said, when the ego dies, the soul awakes.
Word.
Right?
Yeah. When the ego dies, the soul awakes.
Yeah. Have you ever written a song for someone? And if you did, how did you go about it?
I wrote a song for, I won't name the artist, but I wrote an R&B song that I felt like an R&B artist was gonna work on. And man, I was focused on that record, bro. Like I really was. Like, you know, shout out and respect to all R&B artists. It is not like as easy as people think it is. Like you really, like I literally was like laying in the bed, one arm down, half sleep, writing lyrics, literally. Just every melody, saying it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth before I even went to the next line. Making sure everything connected. And thank God for, you know, auto-tune, because it allowed me to bring that song to life, those lyrics to life. I would have never been able to sing that ever. I would have never been able to sing none of those notes. You feel me? But yeah, I wrote a song for R&B artists, and it took me 48 hours, 2 days to write it. But I was like, that was it for 2 days. Like no rap records, no nothing, no freestyles at the end of the, oh yeah, all right, I'm done with that for today. Let me freestyle. Nothing. It was straight R&B melody. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
How do you deal with writer's block, assuming that you get it?
I definitely do get writer's block. I don't have like a cure for it, but how I do it is, I feel like I can only rap about what I'm seeing outside of my regular routine. Because my regular routine is what it is. If you allow me to speak about my regular routine, my music is not going to have any depth to it. It's going to be about, you know what I mean? Some basic stuff, because I'm a pretty simple guy when you get to the core of who I am. I'm a simple dude. So like I really don't trip off a lot of stuff. I don't get into a lot of business with a lot of stuff. I don't stay up on everything, but you know what I mean? I keep my ear open for things and whatnot. But writer's block, that could be as simple as taking a different drive home, taking a different walk somewhere, jogging somewhere, going to the gym, and just like not focused on so much of getting the record done and more focused on just life in general. Because that's what's really gonna fuel your lyrics, is the life that you live in, what you're involved in. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not involved with as much as street activity as I used to. So of course you see here my lyrics is about the trading. I'm talking about trading stuff now, and you know, just different investing and different things like that. So you know, I'm growing up. So I'm talking about different things, and I feel good. I'm very comfortable talking about that too. Like you know, it took a while because I felt like how many years could you just talk about the street shit? Like, and you getting older and shit. You know what I mean? You see new street guys that's younger than you. All right, y'all got that now. You know what I mean? Like I could sprinkle a little bit of that in my music with the knowledge that I have. Well, yeah, I know what's going on, but I'm doing this. You know what I'm saying? So
the word vibe is thrown around a lot when talking about music creation. How do you define that within your work?
A vibe?
Yeah.
The word vibe, that's the feeling, that air that you create when somebody hears you when you're not in the room. But that can only be created. You gotta, when you go in the booth, you want your best performance. Your best performance. So that when people hear it, like, yo, man, my man is killing that shit, man. You heard that, like, you heard the inflection in his voice, even if they don't even know how to really say that word. You heard the inflection in his voice. You know what I'm saying? That shit was crazy. You really feel that way. My nigga, you could have been, like, not even feeling that way. But as long as when you go in that booth, you spit it like you feel that way, people, you're going to convey it to people like that. That's the vibe right there. And also, the vibe is when a person steps in the room after hearing that record. seeing if what he says matches up with him. That's a vibe. He don't gotta say it. If I walk in the room and they hear, oh man, Mula said da 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 and this and that. Yeah, he looked like he kind of capable of doing that. You know what I mean? You can look a man in his eye, in his face, but like, yeah, man, you know. So regardless of what, or he could be a Casanova kind of guy, like a, you know, with the ladies. Like, yeah, I could see him. I seen him, and I seen him with the women. Like he really is like that. So when they hear your lyrics now, that's the vibe. Like, yeah, man, I like this dude's vibe. He really is like that. So that vibe is not just like a word you just say, and you're like, oh yeah, no, you don't just say that. Like you are that. You are the vibe. That's it. When you walk in the room, you the vibe. And when they hear your music, that adds to the vibe. Like, yeah, man. Yo, man. He really do that, man. Don't ever question him. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever question him.
Okay. Whose process have you watched and through it been able to learn the most from?
How many examples you need?
Just give me one.
Just one?
Yeah.
Alright. I would definitely have to say Andre Dale. Hands down. Andre Dale. Shout out to Andre Dale. When I seen him write Jenny from the Block, and he came to me and was like, I remember the day, I'm like, man, 16, 17 years old. I remember the day he came, he said, yo, he said, hey man, I'm writing this song for Jennifer Lopez, man. And I'm just like, you know, 16, 17. All right, word. Like, you know, you believe because, you know, yeah, man, it's going to happen. Word. All right. And to see that happen. And I've seen him write plenty of songs. I've seen his process, how serious he is, how he gets it done. You know, all right, cool. We got a little time where, you know what I'm saying, we could fool around and tell some jokes and shit. Maybe smoke some weed, drink a little bit or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Cool. I wasn't smoking weed at the time, to be honest with you. There's another thing I respect about him, because he was slightly older than me, and he didn't introduce me to none of that stupid shit in the industry. Knowing he's in the industry where all that dumb, stupid shit happens, he never brought me around none of that shit. It was always a positive vibe. Work, we're gonna get work done. This is what we about. You feel what I'm saying? So watching him, there was nothing you could tell me after that. Okay. Yeah, definitely nothing you could tell me after that. Yeah.
Who are some of your musical influences?
The guys that you would call the greats from my era. Anybody that's from my era, you know, the Jay-Z's, the Nas's, Cool G Raps, the Rakims. I like to think of myself as a hybrid, because I'm at the age where I kind of grew up with hip hop, literally. You know what I mean? Like my mom used to put the radio to the stomach, playing hip hop music before I was even conceived in this world. That's fact. So, I mean, Curtis Blow and all these guys and all. I know their names. I know their contributions. Curtis Blow, you talk about Run DMC, then you start going down the line and you start to see the connections. And you're like, wow, like, you know what I'm saying? It's just fascinating. And when you know, me being the age I am, you know what I'm saying? I could say that I actually grew up with it and see it change so many different ways. So I could appreciate the new music because I'm such hip hop that anybody that's still pushing that platform, I believe in them. Even though some of the stuff is kind of, oh man, y'all gotta just step it up a little bit more. It's monotonous. I understand what's going on. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jay-Z, Nas, Cool G Rap, Rakim, Mobb Deep. Oh man, where we going with this? We could talk about Boot Camp Click. Man, Helter Skelter. I mean, CNN. I mean, anybody during that time was my inspiration, because that was at the time where I started really rapping. And these are the people that I was looking up to. I had their tapes. Boom. You know, first tape I ever bought was Granddaddy IU. So anybody that knows Granddaddy IU, that was the first tape I ever bought with my own money. You know what I'm saying? Did my little dishes and mom gave me some money and whatnot. I went right downtown, bought a tape. You know, so.
Okay. You mentioned something a second ago about your mother and putting the radio to her stomach. Do you think, or do you feel that you were born to do this?
Absolutely, without a doubt. She was already setting that platform. I didn't stand a chance. So even if I didn't want to, like, it was gonna be forced upon me. But it's beautiful that, you know, she started that early, because she's a hip hop fan for real. You know what I mean? She just listen to rap music. She's a hip hop fan for real. So, you know, she's like, "Oh, you don't want to stop kicking? All right, you take this radio." You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting there listening to LL and all these people. All right, what's this? You know what I'm saying? So come out the womb years later, and boom, here we are.
Okay. What do you think makes you a great MC?
My range. You said great, right? That's a big word. My range and my ability to. I work well with others. I do. And when we're in the studio, I work well. I'm not like, if you got an idea, I'm gonna see what that is. Even if it takes my actions to get that idea out. Yo, I need you to say this, like this. All right, well, I'm gonna say it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, every man is my superior. I learn from them. I can't say, like, you know, and I'm not talking about like I bow down to every man or anything like that, but every man is my superior, and I learn from them, and in mentality, so that I'd always look at a man as, I could learn from you, whether it's from your mistakes or your successes. So how do I know that this man don't know exactly what the fuck he talking about if I don't try it out and see the success of it? Because you know, perception is a motherfucker. Like, a motherfucker could really perceive something the way it's supposed to be, and you're like perceiving something the other way. You feel what I'm saying? So, absolutely.
If you could go back in time, what would you tell a 10-year-old Jusmula?
10-year-old Jusmula? Jeez. I'd have told him, get into Forex when you're 18. Immediately. If I could talk to a 10-year-old Jusmula right now, I would have told him, get into foreign exchange when you're 18. I would have definitely tell him keep rapping, because like I said, I was born to do this. So even at 10, I was putting together rhymes. I didn't really start taking the art of rhyming serious till 13. And I didn't take the business serious until 17. So there was steps to this shit. I'm a fan first. And then it got to the, you know, I'm so much of a fan, I'm gonna write these. Like, I started writing, I would listen to the vocals and write what they said to see their structure, to see it visually. When I looked at it visually, it turned into me doing it myself. Now I'm putting it together. Oh, this must be how they're doing it. Because I'm sitting, it's so crazy. Like, and I could discern it so well because I remember it like it was just yesterday, and I was 13 when this happened. So that's why I know that's when it happened. I was writing every album that came out that year, and I would write down every word they said, and I'm like, rap it back. Oh shit! Then I started doing my own rhymes, and you know, from there it just took off.
Okay.
Whoa! I guess it's a Remy Martin type of day. Every now and again. Come on! Hustle heat, word. Yeah, word. I really seriously hold my hat. Yeah, hitting the mic didn't come out. Yeah, but if it did, it's okay. This hip hop. We keep the fuck ups. We get the bucks up. Yeah. I miss my town before I leave, but when I'm gone, I'm okay. I left the town a month ago, but I'll be on in a day. Bass kicking way different on the corner some days. Money get a honey splitter and a foreign with shades. So important to the city, they applaud me with praise. Writing verses while I'm fucking, what a glorious thing. Got my cousin with me, we got matching blood like the gang. Outsiders, keep your distance, we will cut up your fade. Ain't no fire too hot, ain't no snow I'm afraid of. she ain't dealing with me, period. That's the menopause.